house, he said, "Who is there? What is that sound?" And then the man said, "No, no, I'm not stealing." So it is like that. The veranda filled with laughter at Prabhupada's witty psychoanalysis. Rupanuga said that throughout the article they were making comparisons with the earth. Prabhupada said, and then he said, "Srila Prabhupada, you catch them red-handed." Prabhupada grinned. "Yes, that I can do. Who asked them to speak of Arizona? Who asked? Who was asked? Who is stealing?" He asked for the sound, but the person disclosed. "No, no, I'm not stealing." So it's like that. Why are they bringing Arizona? They could have mentioned other places. So that was the psychology. The man's there in the dark. "Who's there?" "No, no, I'm not stealing." That means his business is there, and he revealed it by opening his mouth. So the same way, who's asking them to talk about Arizona? But immediately they speak. So Prabhupada was not at all impressed with so-called interplanetary travel and lunar probes, Martian probes, satellite pictures and the like. He thought it was all bogus. Okay, let's see here. We've got just one or two last articles. September the 4th, 1976, Prabhupada was... No, that's not right. Well, okay, September the 4th, he was in Vrindavan. Sitting on Prabhupada's desk was a new French BTG with an article by Hayagriva describing his first meeting with Srila Prabhupada in New York. This could be August the 4th, actually, it might be in New Mayapur. The editor, Yogeshwara Prabhu, had included in the magazine a photo of Srila Prabhupada sitting in Tompkins Square Park, playing a tom-tom drum, while Brahmananda and Achyutananda danced. That was the first time that any of Prabhupada's students had got up and danced during his kirtans. The photo reminded Srila Prabhupada of the Village Voice article that had appeared in New York in the fall of 1966. In it, the reporter had shown a photo of Srila Prabhupada sitting under a tree preaching to an interested crowd of onlookers. The reporter had credited Srila Prabhupada with showing his skeptical audience that God was not dead, but was alive and well and living in a storefront on 2nd Avenue. So that we mentioned about that God is dead article. That was, so that reporter was picking up on that and saying God is not dead, according to the Swamis, perfectly alive and well. Harikesh marveled at the photo. "Wow, I didn't know that was Achyutananda. I can recognize Hayagriva, but that's not Hayagriva." I said, "That's Brahmananda." "That's not Hayagriva?" "No, it's a picture of Brahmananda and Achyutananda dancing, and Prabhupada's playing on the tabla, and Kirtananda is sitting down in the corner." "Boy, was he skinny in those days," Harikesh grinned. "That's Brahmananda? And this is Kirtananda Swami sitting down?" Prabhupada looked over the photo with us. "Kirtananda sitting there?" "Yes, he sat next to you. He's all shaved up," I said. "That was published in the New York Times," Prabhupada said. "The other picture was published in the Voice, Village Voice." "Yes. Yeah, big picture, one page. So they felt something. Otherwise, why they should publish? It appealed to them that there is God." This is a really historic picture, Harikesh appreciated. Prabhupada tipped his head. "Underneath the tree, I was sitting and speaking, that's all. And when I would come back from the park to my apartment, at least 24 people would come with me." So it was another pleasant reminiscence on the significant events in the beginning of Prabhupada's preaching in the West. There is another photo of him playing the tom-tom that appears in the new French Srimad Bhagavatam, which has been placed on a wall shelf here in his room. So this was, it was definitely August the 4th. I better correct that once I remember. In New Mayapur. Prabhupada likes the photo so much that last night he suggested to me and Charan Aravinda that if an artist was available, he would like them to paint it. So that's another thing. If somebody's an artist, there's the portrait that he asked Jadharani to paint. And there was this one, this photo of Prabhupada sitting there in the early days at Tompkins Square Park chanting. So he said that would be another good topic to paint. Okay, so that's it. That was the last little entry there about writing. Anybody have any questions or comments? Nothing? So, yes.
Did anyone ask Srila Prabhupada why they couldn't see? Because when you see pictures of the moon, you just see craters there. Did Prabhupada never explain what that was? Because it's supposed to be a heavenly planet with lakes and... Did
Prabhupada ever explain what it was that they were seeing when they saw craters on the so-called moon's surface? Prabhupada said possibly they went to Rahu or some other place. But he said from the description in the Vedic literatures, we know that the moon is a heavenly planet. It's, got tremendous opulence there. So he said, whatever it is that they're showing, that's not the moon. Sometimes devotees think then, well, then Prabhupada maybe was talking about some other place that we don't see, it's not the moon that we see, but the moon in the Bhagavatam is describing is some other place. And that what we call the moon is not what is called the moon in the Bhagavatam. But Prabhupada definitely indicated that the moon that's in the Bhagavatam is the one that we see in the sky. Yeah. Because sometimes, I remember one occasion when I was giving him this massage in Vrindavan, and September, October time, and he was up on the roof, so he was taking rest because it was nice and cool in the evenings. And he looked up and there was a full moon. So he was looking at the full moon, and he said, and they say it is simply rocks and dust. He said, how foolish they are. He said, is it possible that just rocks and dust can give such cooling rays? So, beautiful light and cooling rays? They're all fools, that's all. So there's no doubt that that's what Prabhupada was referring to, is the moon that we see. On another occasion he did say that even if they went there, they cannot enter into the atmosphere. They're not allowed, because it's a more subtle existence. So even if they see some kind of physical structure there, they're not seeing the moon as it actually is. The moon is inhabited by heavenly beings, but of course their bodies are subtle. They're not gross physical bodies the same as ours. And so there's a different, you could say, if you like Sariputta, he says, well, the Bhagavatam refers to interdimensional, spaces in the universe. Just like the demigods, they can't enter into Brahmaloka. They're not allowed. You're only allowed to enter into where you're qualified to go, and you can't go beyond that. So just like we can't get off of this planet, but demigods, or some of the lower demigods, the Vidyadharas, the Charanas, the Gandharvas, they can come to this planet, they can go to some other planets. But there are some planets that they can't go to. The higher planets, Tapaloka, Janaloka, they're only for the very powerful great sages. They can travel from one planet to another at will with no problem. And they live in the very highest regions. And then on Lord Brahma's planet, there's a special group that live there also. So you could look at it from that point of view also. And Prabhupada did once say something about that. But on the whole, whenever I was with him and he did talk about the moon quite frequently, he always said that they never went there. That's it. They don't have the means to go there. Any other questions?